Eddie Howe has just met the press down here at Newcastle United's HQ after a very busy time, coming back from Milan last week and then going to Sheffield United and winning 8-0. But now it's time to turn attention to the Carabao Cup, with Newcastle looking to at least have a run in this competition, but they know how difficult it's going to be against Manchester City. Man City, one of the favourites. They won pretty much everything else last season apart from the Carabao Cup. They'll be looking to add this one to the tally, but I think really for Eddie Howe it's about freshening the squad up for this one. I do expect a few tweaks. He's already hinted in there's a few players carrying knocks, so there will be a few changes to his team for Man City. But in there he just told me there that he does feel that he's got the ability now to make up to 10 or 11 changes if he needs to and still put out a strong team. So all positive on that front. The big negative was Harvey Barnes will be out for months rather than weeks. That's a real blow for a player that came in the summer for £38 million. Went off with a toe injury at Bramall Lane, but we're not going to see him for a while. Huge blow. We'll miss some big Champions League games, but I think all the fans will wish him all the best coming back. It's now to be decided whether he needs to have surgery or not, but we'll soon see. And it's all the best to Harvey Barnes after that injury. So back from Eddie Howe's press conference at the training ground. Carabao Cup time has come round again. Obviously Newcastle went in at the third round stage this season due to the European commitments. We all thought that might help Newcastle a little bit, and then obviously they got Manchester City in round 3. So a tough tie. Eddie Howe under no illusions about that and what Pep Guardiola's achieved, and even talking about Pep Guardiola naming a team that if he does make 11 changes, it's still going to be extremely strong and extremely tough for Newcastle United to make it into the next round. But stranger things have happened. Newcastle still have a strong team. They couldn't ask to be going into this game in a better mood after defeating Sheffield United 8-0 at Bramall Lane. I think really Eddie Howe knew he would have to make changes at some point. He tweaked the team with 4 changes at Bramall Lane at the weekend after Milan. This will be similar. He hinted that there was a couple more injuries apart from Harvey Barnes going into this one. We'll have to wait and see who they were. He wasn't prepared to specify who was going to be injured. He wasn't giving a lot away really with the team, which is no surprise. It's pretty much what Eddie Howe, his kind of approach is during press conferences, and I think he'll believe that this game is just another one in a tough schedule of games. There's no doubt about it. I think really from his point of view, he knew when that Champions League draw was made, there was going to be tweaks that were going to have to be done in the next few weeks. So it's going to be really interesting to see that team sheet tomorrow night. Let's just have a little recap of what was said by Eddie Howe. He's even described the draw from Newcastle against Man City as the draw no one wants, which is but the positive of that is that Newcastle, if they beat Man City, then that's one of the tournament favourites gone, and Newcastle can hope for better luck in round 4 and a smoother passage to hopefully the latter stages. So obviously Newcastle's trophy drought was mentioned again. Eddie Howe making it clear. I'm well aware that Newcastle haven't won a trophy. We had all this last season where the players being reminded how long it was. I'm not sure that needs to be said to the players this year. It was going round on a big screen last year at the training ground. I think this squad are well aware of Newcastle's lack of a trophy. A lot of the press conference, centred around talk about Anthony Gordon. Eddie tried to give him a rest at Sheffield United, and that kind of backfired after 10 minutes when Harvey Barnes got injured. But look, it turned the game, and Eddie Howe in there today just talking about how difficult it is to rest Anthony Gordon because he wants to play every minute of every game. Remember, he came back from the under 21s with England in the summer, and he just wanted to play, and it's been no different so far this season, wanting to play every game. If you remember going back to that Brentford game when he got substituted, had a bit of a wouldn't call it an altercation, but he made his feelings known to Eddie Howe when he got substituted. So that's the type of play you're dealing with. I think a lot of people possibly misread that when it happened, back in March, I think it was, when Gordon came off, and it was looked at as a bit of sort of dissent really towards the manager. But I think what it deep down was just his passion that he wants to play every minute of every game, and I think that's great to see from a Newcastle player. So Eddie will now have to decide what he does with Anthony Gordon. He's in a rich vein of form. I'm sure if you told him to go out there and win the game against Man City at St James's Park, he'd relish that. But ultimately, the guy's going to need a rest at some point. PSG coming up hot on the heels of Burnley at the weekend. It's 3 games coming up in the space of a week. So tough times in terms of fixtures, but players will argue they enjoy it when the games come thick and fast. Other talking points at a press conference, obviously we've mentioned it before, Harvey Barnes. It's going to be weeks rather than months. On reflection, absolutely devastated for the player himself. Coming in from Leicester, we spoke to him over in America in the summer, and he's just so happy to be a Newcastle player, so happy the deal was done, and looking forward in earnest. And he's almost been sidelined before he's really been able to get into a rhythm. Look, his Premier League debut against Villa was outstanding, coming off the bench, scoring one, making one, and showed in that pre-season friendly against Fiorentina, I think it was, how good signing he could be for Newcastle. And sadly now he's going to have to watch from the sidelines. So I think all Newcastle fans, their thoughts will be with him at the minute. It's a strange injury. It's a toe injury, and one that forced him off so early in the game, and there was no challenge around it. It was just him trying to run off, and he's picked up that injury. So unfortunate for him. I think he'll be back stronger from it. Newcastle will look after him in that respect. But I think Harvey Barnes was just the length of the time he's going to be missing was probably the main headline coming from the press conference. Man City sells itself. Eddie's got to say certain things going into it, but look, it's a tough game, we all know that. If Newcastle can get past it though, then maybe we can start thinking about another run in the cup. But it's going to be a tough one to begin with, and that team sheet will be very intriguing tomorrow night.